right? So we resolve to a 1 in minor, and that's okay. If we're in a minor key, that can totally happen. Other things to keep in mind on a 5-1. A 5-1 shares a note, so always try to keep that in the same voice in the same note. We don't want to cross this over. So let's see, let's do it wrong. What if I did this? And then that. Okay, this would be bad for a number of reasons, but let's walk through one of them. The biggest one, well, the one that I'm talking about right now, is that this A does not continue on to here. This A switches voices when it doesn't need to. Like, this is what voice leading is all about, right? That word voice leading. It's finding the path of least resistance from one chord to the next, the smoothest possible way. So the smoothest possible way for this to get to the next note is for this to stay on the same note. So always try to do that in a 5-1. Find the common note and keep it in the same voice. Now, if we were looking at an imperfect authentic cadence, we might have something like this. This is fairly common to have an imperfect authentic cadence where we have the leading tone in the bass. Now, in order for this to perfectly work, I'm going to adjust a couple other things. There we go. Now it works again. So this is an imperfect because we don't have root position 5. We have a 5-6 chord here, which means that the third is in the bass, first inversion. So the third is in the bass, but it's raised correctly so that it's a major 5 chord, and that's going to give us our leading tone in the bass. So imperfect authentic cadence, we still have 2-1 up here. Let's hear it. So you still get that leading tone 1 feel. Try to latch your ear onto the bass note. So it still feels pretty good that way, right? I still have my A, my common tone, in the same voice. It's in a different voice than it was before, but it's in the same voice. Now I've doubled my A here, and this one has to move because I don't want to double the 5th of this chord, of my tonic chord. Because then I only have 3 notes in this chord, and I'd have 2 doublings. I'd have D, A, D, if I didn't move this note. But in at least one of the voices, it stays the same. So that's okay. That's what we want to do. So a couple things about the 5 chord and resolving it. Let's jump to a new video and talk about some other resolution possibilities that happen and some voice leading things that can happen with the 5-1 chord. The 5-1 chord progression.